something nostalgic about a chicken pot pie. And when I was a little kid, and I got that little pie all to myself, I loved that, and that was very special to me. But I'm a big boy now, and I don't eat commercially processed foods. So I'm going to show you how to take a chicken pot pie into a whole nother realm. Stick around, I'm going to show you how it's done. In a heavy bottom stock pot, I took about 8 chicken thighs. I like to use the thighs because I like the dark meat. It's a little richer and it has a lot more flavor. I peeled the skin off of half of them, put them in the pot, cut up 2 potatoes, 3 carrots, 2 stalks of celery, an onion, and I covered it with water. I put some bay leaf, some seasonings, and I've been letting it simmer for about 45 minutes. This is what I've got. All right. I'm removing the chicken thighs so I could strain the vegetables away from the stock so I can thicken that up for the gravy. Now I'm going to drain the vegetables off the stock. After the thighs have had a minute to cool, peel the top layer of skin off. Flip the thigh over, grab the bone at one end using your hand to pull it through all the way. Take off any connective fat tissues and any of the veins that run along the bone of the thigh. They should come out really easy. In between the separation layers of muscle, you'll find some really thin fat layers. Take those out. You can feel them with your hands really easily. There's a tendon on the other end. Make sure you get that out, leaving you a great pile of meat. Give this a really coarse chop. In the same pot, don't even have to rinse it out, I'm going to make a quick roux. So I've got about 5 tablespoons of butter in here that I'm going to melt. To that, I want to add equal parts of flour. So about 4 or 5 tablespoons of flour. Whisk this in. I'm not looking to brown this at all. I want to keep this roux pretty blonde. So I'm going to add some heavy whipping cream. Keep that all whisked in. Get that incorporated. And I'm slowly going to add my stock. I usually like to finish this off with a really great French herb mixture. Today I'm going to use Penzeys Parisian. If you don't have a Penzeys in your area, go online and look them up. It'll be worth it. Basically, Parisian is a mix of chives, dill, basil, French tarragon, chervil, and white pepper. So anything along those lines will work well. You can see the sauce is thickening up nicely. I'm going to add a little bit more stock. Cook this slowly in this method until you've used all your stock. Now that I've cooked the gravy to where I want it, I wanted to add a couple of other things that I steamed earlier. I steamed some cauliflower and broccoli, and the reason I didn't cook it with the chicken and the root vegetables at the beginning is I didn't want them to melt away. I also sauteed some mushrooms, and the same thing with those. I didn't want them to melt away into the sauce. Here's those great potatoes, carrots, celery, and onions that I cooked the chicken with, and all my great chicken. I'm going to really gently fold all these ingredients together. I don't want to break all my cooked vegetables too much. So just really gently fold this in and get this all mixed up until it's all incorporated. How great is this? If you keep a pie crust in your freezer, you could have a pot pie anytime you want. Now that I've rolled my pie crust out, I'm going to cut a top slightly larger than the container I'm going to use to bake the pie in. Put the pastry over the pie and press the top on just slightly, pushing out any air that's in between the crust and the filling. Make a slight indentation along the lip all the way around the edge of the container, pushing the dough slightly in, forming this upper section here. Gently roll the edge of the crust underneath, forming a small piped edge. Now that wasn't hard, was it? Don't forget your steam holes. As you can see, I put that in the oven on a cookie sheet just to catch anything that might bubble over. In a 375-degree oven, this should be ready in about 45 minutes. Now, I normally don't lay on the floor to eat my supper, but it's the end of winter and I couldn't resist one last fire. As far as this pie goes, I like to go right in the middle. Big spoon. This is so good. Make yourself a pot pie.